This evening, first, tariff tension rising, but there is a silver lining. Vice President Bharrat Jagdeo says Guyana's top exports like oil and gold are safe from the looming 38% US tariff. So what products will take the hit? We'll break it all down. Plus, gold bust on the ground. SOCU strikes again. 4 suspects, including Brazilians and a Cuban, are caught red-handed with over $30 million in smuggled gold. What officials say they uncovered may surprise you. Also, Bumpy ride no more? After mounting complaints, the government announces a major fix for the Heroes Highway. But is this just damage control or progress in motion? Meanwhile, bridge bans and big truck. A collapsed bridge sparks urgent warnings for heavy-duty drivers. Minister Juan Edghill says no more overloaded trucks on the East Coast embankment. Find out what changes are coming. And in Bolivia, a deadly attack on a gold mining camp leaves 6 dead as rival groups fight for control of the country's northern gold fields. Stay tuned, these stories and more tonight on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for April 4th, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, Vice President Dr. Bharrat Jagdeo has revealed that 3 of Guyana's top 10 exports to the United States, crude petroleum, gold, and aluminum, are exempted from the 38% reciprocal tariffs set to take effect on April 9, 2025. These commodities represent Guyana's highest exports to the U.S.
They Annex 2 of the White House executive order has exempt certain categories of exports from the reciprocal tariff. So petroleum crude, which is $3.1 billion, the top export, is exempted from the reciprocal tariff. Aluminum ore, which is the second highest export into the United States at 37 million, is also exempted. Then gold is also exempted. So 3 of the top 10 products are exempted from the higher, or top 10 exports into the United States are exempt from the reciprocal tariff based on the White House order that President Trump signed into law when he brought the higher reciprocal tariff in place. So right now, it's very early. It was only yesterday this was announced. As I said before, President Trump has made it clear, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, that his economic strategy is focused on rebalancing the trade deficit using tariffs. And the United States is an important market for the rest of the world. It has a huge demand. And he's made it clear that if you want to access their market, you have to pay tariffs to enter the market. He is saying that he's trying to eliminate the trade surpluses that some countries have with his country by the use of higher tariffs.
Guyana exports over $8.7 million in honey and $6.5 million in alcoholic beverages to the U.S., which will be subject to the tariff. Dr. Jagdeo explained that the U.S. imposed these tariffs on countries that export more to the U.S. than they import. However, discrepancies exist between U.S. and Guyanese trade data, with the U.S. reporting a much higher surplus than Guyana's own figures. The government plans to engage U.S. authorities to clarify these inconsistencies and negotiate adjustments.
Our discussion with the United States government will have to show the points I made earlier, that there is no inbuilt discrimination against U.S. products coming into our market. And because that is the concern with some of the bigger countries, and that we do not put high tariffs or non-tariff barriers to U.S. exports. So we are looking forward to having that engagement with the U.S. government. I want to assure all of our exporters that we'll work with them where, as we learn more of the issue, we will be meeting with them, working with them to ensure that they can continue to access the US markets and other markets in the world, and they would have the full support of the government of Guyana so that we do not lose economic output, welfare associated with the loss of economic output. Places like people losing jobs, etc., in the export industries.
The Vice President assured local exporters that there is no need to panic as discussions continue. He also emphasized that the policy applies broadly and is not targeted specifically at Guyana. On a different note, SOCU has intercepted a significant gold smuggling operation, arresting 4 suspects and seizing millions in gold and cash. Dale Jarvis has more on the crackdown and ongoing investigation.
Officers of the Special Organized Crime Unit, SOCU, have intercepted an alleged gold smuggling operation, arresting 4 individuals, 2 Brazilians, a Cuban, and a Guyanese, during an intelligence-led operation on Thursday, April 3rd. According to SOCU, the suspects were caught with over $30 million worth of gold and $31 million in cash. Investigators also seized electronic equipment believed to be linked to the smuggling network. While SOCU did not disclose the exact location of the operation, officials described it as a significant breakthrough in the fight against illicit gold smuggling. SOCU head Deputy Commissioner Fazil Karimbas emphasized that the operation had successfully prevented the gold from being illegally transported. He warned smugglers that authorities remain vigilant and will take decisive action against such activities. The latest crackdown follows a similar enforcement effort on March 5th in Lethem, Region 9, where 2 individuals were arrested. The government of Guyana has reaffirmed its commitment to combating gold smuggling and dismantling criminal networks. Investigations into the latest case are ongoing and charges are expected to be filed soon as officials continue efforts to protect the country's valuable resources. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. The Guyana Revenue Authority, GRA, is rolling out major enhancements to its partner mobile application, aligning with the upcoming launch of a new electronic speeding ticketing system under the Safe Road Intelligent System project. Speaking at Radio Ivlery, GRA's head of information technology, Stacey Jones, revealed that the app will soon facilitate payments for speeding violations, which will be issued electronically using radar, speed signs, and cameras installed across the country.
We've entered into arrangement with the minds behind the ticketing system, and the intent is to facilitate tickets being pushed to the partner app, and also facilitate payment. Right, the partner app just after this tax filing season, we will be releasing the ability for you to renew your motor vehicle license and make payments via the platform. When we do that, subsequently thereafter, we will facilitate the tickets being pushed to the app, the taxpayer or driver being notified that they have a new ticket, and then they can, review the details and make a payment for that ticket right from the partner app.
Offenders will receive photo evidence of the infraction, including their vehicle's speed. The standard fine remains at $7,500. Drivers registered with the GRA will get notifications via SMS or emails. Others will receive physical tickets at their registered addresses. April, one of GRA's busiest period, also marks the tax filing season. The upgraded partner app aims to streamline services with features such as income tax and vehicle import calculators, tax return filings, document storage, and event reminders. Future updates will allow users to pay for drivers and vehicles license and apply for compliance certificates. The app uses Optimal eServices login credentials and is available on both the Google Play Store and App Store. Stick around, will return. Government to resurface Heroes Highway amid concerns over bumpy roadways. And Minister Edghill bans heavy trucks from railway embankments to prevent damage.
sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Vice President Dr. Bharrat Jagdeo has announced that the government will undertake an asphaltic overlay on the Heroes Highway to address concerns about its uneven surface. Speaking at his weekly press conference on Thursday, he acknowledged public criticism of the road's bumpiness, stating that the decision to resurface it was made months ago.
Many times people ask me about the bumpy nature of the Heroes Highway, and I too have been critical of this. And we made it clear months ago that there would be an overlay, an asphaltic overlay on this road.
It's not an unfair criticism that the road in some places is bumpy, Dr. Jagdeo admitted, assuring that the necessary improvements will be made. The $13.3 billion highway, constructed in 12 lots between Eccles and Great Diamond, East Bank, Demerara, was built as an alternative 4-lane route and later renamed Heroes Highway. It connects to the existing 4-lane highway from Eccles to Mandela Avenue, Georgetown. The Vice President emphasized the significant impact of the new road network, which was completed in less than 5 years, improving travel to East Bank commuters.
This road has solved a problem for so many people. Look at the pace at which we had to go. That's why it was split up into so many components so you can work simultaneously. You award one contract, it would take 5-6 years.
Jagdeo criticized the opposition for focusing on minor flaws while ignoring the broader developmental progress across the country.
We started this almost after COVID. And within 2 years of it starting, people on the East Bank, and not just that one, but several others, if you drive down the East Bank, they don't talk about the transformation of the East Bank. People come in the country, people drive up to the East Coast, they tell me, I get lost on the East Bank. I don't know which road to turn into. All of these, not on the highway. They don't talk about that. Just imagine us not having that today, where we would be like today, not having a road, a 4-lane road on the East Bank, the Heroes Highway.
The Vice President reaffirmed the government's commitment to addressing shortcomings while highlighting the ongoing transformation of Region 4 and Georgetown's infrastructure. While the government moves to enhance the quality of the Heroes Highway in response to public concerns, attention is also being paid to another critical stretch of infrastructure. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edghill has reinforced a ban on heavy-laden trucks using the railway embankment along the east coast of Demerara, warning that such traffic is causing severe damage to infrastructure. During an inspection of the recently rehabilitated Strathspey Bridge on Thursday, Minister Edghill noted that the bridge collapsed after an overloaded truck crossed the deteriorated section. He cautioned that similar incidents could occur if trucks continue to use aqua-panel bridges along the embankment.
No trucks should continue to pass the aquapanel bridges along this embankment. If not, we're going to end up having another failure. This is a new trend. Trucks are going through community streets. Trucks are going wherever they think they could get zoom, zoom fast. And that is causing damage.
He revealed that in recent months, over 6 aquapanel bridges had to undergo major repairs due to destruction caused by overweight vehicles.
It might not just be one truck, but the continuous flow of heavy laden trucks where the weight is no longer on the axle, but it's now directly on the road and the structures is causing the damage.
As part of the U.S. $192.3 million Sheriff Street to Mahaica 4-lane road project, the government plans to replace all aquapanel bridges with more resilient structures. The project includes constructed 48 bridges, 22 culverts, and a bridge across the Hope Canal. Edghill urged truck operators to adhere to the restrictions until the upgraded infrastructure is in place, ensuring safer and more durable roadways. On a different note, a 39-year-old chainsaw operator from Whitewater Northwest District, Region 1, has been charged with multiple offenses, including rape and escaping lawful custody. Richard Domingo was arrested on March 30, 2025 and appeared before Magistrate Clive Nurse at the Mabaruma Magistrates Court via Zoom on April 2nd. He faced 3 charges: sexual assault allegedly committed against a 25-year-old woman between November 1st and November 30th of 2017. Sexual activity with a minor allegedly committed between August 1st and August 30th of 2013. And escape from lawful custody after fleeing from the Mabaruma police station on February 11, 2025. Domingo pleaded guilty to escaping custody and was sentenced to 12 months in prison. However, he was not required to plead to the sexual assault charges and was remanded to prison. The case has been adjourned until May 20th, 2025. Don't go away after the break. Haiti's transitional leader promises action amid mounting gang violence, and Brazil pushes back against U.S. trade levies. Parliament prepares retaliation bill.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things. What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the Caribbean, Haiti's Transitional Council leader, Fritz Alfonso Jean, acknowledged the country's worsening gang crisis, calling the nation hell for everyone during a public address. His remarks followed violent protests in Port-au-Prince, where citizens demanded action. Jean pleaded urgent measures, including a special security budget and support from armed environmental agents. Over 4,200 persons have died from gang violence since July. Jean also vows progress towards elections before the council's term ends in 2025. Meanwhile, in South America, Brazil is set to approve a new retaliation bill in response to recent U.S. trade tariffs. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva will sign the legislation, equipping the government with extensive powers to protect its economy. Al Jazeera's Monique Yannick reports.
President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva is ready to respond to sweeping new U.S. tariffs with a so-called retaliation bill.
In light of the U.S. decision to impose tariffs on Brazilian products, we will take all appropriate measures to defend our companies and workers.
The bill gives Brazil's government broad powers to respond quickly to unfair trade barriers. It can increase its own tariffs on imports, as well as suspending the payment of intellectual property rights and royalties.
We defend multilateralism and free trade, but we will respond to any attempt to impose protectionism, which has no place in today's world.
While publicly condemning the United States for violating international trade agreements, Brazil wants to keep talking with Washington. Latin America's largest economy has suffered less than other global players. Brazilian exports to the U.S. are taxed at 10%, 3 times lower than those from China.
Brazilian diplomats say that an all-out trade war may be counterproductive. The government will first try to negotiate better terms with the United States before making use of the newly approved retaliation bill. Their argument with American negotiators is that the United States has enjoyed a $410 billion trade surplus over the past 15 years and has no need to impose additional tariffs.
In the coming days, the Brazilian government will meet business leaders to find out which sectors will be more affected and what to do about it.
I think for now, Brazil has flown below the radar of the United States, and that has been a good strategy because it's a highly asymmetric relationship. The United States is much more powerful than Brazil. Confrontation is not going to necessarily create more benefits for Brazil. There may actually be some benefits. Brazilian farmers may be able to export more to China. But in general, of course, it's an unsettling time.
Analysts agree that, despite any short-term benefits Brazil could see, long-term, the global economy could suffer from tariffs, and everyone could have more to lose. Monica Yanakiev, Al Jazeera, Rio de Janeiro.
At least 6 people have been killed in an attack on a mining camp in Bolivia. The northern mountains have lucrative gold mines, and rival groups of independent miners are competing for control. Al Jazeera's Fitton Monaghan reports.
The aftermath of a deadly attack in a remote mountain community in northern Bolivia. This mining camp near the town of Sorata was attacked by a rival group. They threw sticks of dynamite, explosions causing death and destruction. Survivors are counting the dead and mourning their losses.
I want justice for my daughter. She has a son. She was pregnant. Justice. I want them to go to jail.
Bolivia's mountains are full of small-scale independent miners who've arranged themselves into cooperatives. They often compete with each other and with the state mining company for control of lucrative gold deposits. This sometimes leads to violence, but rarely on this scale. A rise in gold prices in recent years has intensified competition. People here want those responsible to pay for what they've done.
We want the people behind this to be put in jail. The people ask for justice.
The roots of this violence go deep and the stakes are high. People here say this attack is the result of a rivalry between cooperatives that had simmered for years. Vincent Monaghan, Al Jazeera.
Finally, the idea of Europe running its own security has gained momentum since US President Donald Trump took office for a second time in January. But a lack of political unity and an unwillingness to pool military resources could hamper progress. Al Jazeera's Alex Gotopoulos reports.
Increased military readiness is now central to European thinking, and the President of the EU Commission could not have been clearer.
The era of the peace dividend is long gone. The security architecture that we relied on can no longer be taken for granted. The age of spheres of influence and power competition is well and truly back.
More than $841 billion has already been committed to be spent on arms made exclusively by European companies. Europe lacks key weapons and systems, so its list of needs is long and comprehensive.
There are some specific things that Europe will need to acquire, key enablers like greater missile and air defense capability, greater capability for intelligence collection and surveillance, greater capability for military mobility. And that is both about airlift and sea lift and so on.
The amount dedicated to European rearmament is a clear commitment by the EU. This will now have to be turned into weapons and capabilities for Europe to protect itself in any future conflict.
It's going to take time to ramp up defence production, those production lines, the skilled labour, the raw materials, all of that is still not really in place, and turn out all of that new equipment. So if you say to Europe, we're going to give you 20 years to do it, it's okay. But if you believe some of the former NATO generals who are saying we need to be ready to fight Russia without the United States in 2 years, that is where the tall order for Europe really comes in.
The idea that the United States under President Trump will withdraw or downgrade its commitments to European security is still considered an outside bet by some analysts. But confidence in the permanence of America's protection of Europe is no longer guaranteed. The Trump administration has overturned a decades-long policy of guaranteeing European security. Europe is stepping up, and the US has said about time too. European defence is about to be radically transformed. Alex Katopoulos, Al Jazeera, Brussels.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it to be 2 headline news for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.